Without doubt, one of the most iconic horror films of all time is 1973's The Exorcist. And to mark its 50th anniversary, it recently returned to cinemas, and for many people, it will be their first viewing of the director's cut. However, unfortunately, I'm not here to talk about that classic film, but instead the latest film in the franchise, The Exorcist Believer. This movie is the beginning of a proposed trilogy to burst new life into the series, with director David Gordon Green having done similar previously with the Halloween franchise. The first of those Halloween reboot films I thought was decent enough, but the other two were complete shite. And it seems the rot doesn't stop there, as The Exorcist Believer is so bloody awful, I think they should seriously consider even bothering with these trilogy plans.
Throw it away! No! Throw it away!
The main plot involves two girls disappearing after venturing into the woods, but when they are eventually found, they show signs of demonic possession. Now that doesn't sound like the worst setup in the world, but the problem is, it's set up for absolutely nothing, as the movie just ends up being a tedious drama. In the Halloween reboot, it was understandable to see Jamie Lee Curtis return as that legacy character, but here they've brought back Ellen Burstyn as Chris McNeil, and they even put her on the front lines, which is just ridiculous, and they try their damnedest to force a connection with the original film, but it's all a bit embarrassing really, and it does more damage than anything else. Many times while I was sat watching this movie, I was ready to check out because I've seen other crappy films this year, but at least with most of them, they had a sequence or two where I found enjoyment. I mean, the Pope's Exorcist was nonsense, but fair play to it, it went up in flames at the end and it was bonkers, but here it's just pure boredom.
It's boring. You're boring everybody. Quit boring everyone!
The story is sloppily put together and there are many times where the joints of it are hanging by a thread. It's a film that makes you question if the creators understood what made the original film so well loved in the first place, because there are decisions taken here that seem to disregard the craft of horror within its story and its characters, so we are ultimately left with no emotional impact. In the 1973 film, once we got to the exorcism itself, it all built up superbly to that moment and you didn't want to be in that room with such a force. However, in this movie, the whole neighbourhood are happy to give it a go and it turns into like a Wii Sports family game night.
See, once again, I just can't get it past Helen's fat lips.
So yeah, there's a lot of head scratching moments, and to be honest, the actors involved here were facing a losing battle because there is talent on the screen, but the severe lack of talent behind it, and especially in regards to the script, meant it was all to waste. We may get two for the price of one in terms of possessed children in this one, but The Exorcist Believer is so lacking in substance and new ideas that it ends up being a complete waste of time, and it's a film that really is undeserving of any association with the original. Anyway, I was a little bit late to the party on this one, so many of you probably have seen this film already, so if you have, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments down below. And of course, if you want to see another video, on screen is one of the latest reviews from the channel.